Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. It's tonight's second game. It'll be Rutgers University against Georgia Tech University. And here are the starting lineups for Georgia Tech. At the forwards, number 20, Tom Hammonds. Number 33, Dwayne Farrell. At center, number 22, John Sally. And at the guards, number 25, Mark Price. And number 45, Bruce Dalrymple. And the coach of Georgia Tech, Bobby Cremens. For Rutgers University, at the forwards, number 00, Eric Riggins. Number 20, Ed Zucker. At center, number 34, Lloyd Moore. And at the guards, number 10, Rick Danica. And number 14, Steve Brown. And the coach of Rutgers, Craig Littlepage.
ACC Invasion Night continues at Madison Square Garden. We've already seen the top-ranked Tar Heels of North Carolina, now the 5th-ranked Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. Let's go out to courtside to Bob Wolf and Bucky Waters.
Thank you, Bruce. And once again, a quick look at the matchups in this ball game, Bucky.
Well, Georgia Tech is said to have the best backcourt in the country. You get a lot of arguments there with justification, but that is a very superior one to Danica and Brown for Rutgers for no other reason than experience, never mind talent. And as we pointed out, Sally versus Moore is a considerable mismatch unless Lloyd Moore has the game of his career.
And we'll have a quick look at the officials. You saw them flashed up on the screen right there. Jim Wright, Jerry Donahue, and Dick Papari. Jim Lennon, the TV coordinator. And here we go with Price getting the ball inside, and his first thrust, and the ball taken away. Fast break. Danica at the other end, and he's got two. It was a steal, a fast break, and the Scarlet Knights are out in front by a 2-0 score.
Always the underdog considerably helps his cause when they get a good start. As we recall in the first game, Fordham got a good start. They were just worn down. Last time Rutgers showed a little trap off the 2-3 and turned it over.
Sally tipped that ball, but it was right in the hands of Ed Zucker, number 20, as it's brought to the front court by Steve Brown of Rutgers University. Lloyd Moore is at the high post. And Brown, looking, decides to get it outside of Danica. 00 is Riggins inside. That's he with the ball. Steve Brown, Zucker, number 20, Riggins, and Riggins with the shot. Rutgers leads 4-0. 1 minute has gone by, and the Scarlet Knights have taken an early lead here.
Rutgers now extending man for man. Danica coming out on Price.
Sally being guarded by Moore. Sally with the ball. Quick outlet pass. And there we've got a travel. Dwayne Farrell trying to get that extra step, number 33 on the travel.
Believe me, I'm not looking for an excuse for anybody. Georgia Tech played last night at home. It was a game that required them to fly to New York today. They will go home and play a Saturday afternoon game back in Atlanta. It's like an NBA schedule. But it may take them a little while to really get smoking here.
Moore hits, and it's now 6-0 Rutgers. 8:20 to go in the first half. Lloyd Moore. Now, Anthony Duckett is out because of an injury. Lloyd Moore, who has to hit the prescribed weight or he won't play. We'll tell you about that a bit later. He has to have a special weigh-in before every game. But those are notes that can come a bit later. Right now, let's see how Georgia Tech does as Dalrymple has the ball. Number 45. And the Rutgers fan charting defense as Price was trying to move behind a screen.
Dick Paparo made the call. It's a blue call. Greg Littlepage towering over everybody at about 6'7" on the Rutgers bench.
That appeared to be an inadvertent whistle there, Bucky. Everything just stopped all of a sudden.
10 on the shot clock.
Dalrymple. And it's pulled down by Moore, but jostled out of his hands. We've got a tie up underneath.
Oh, Rutgers really had come to play. If no one's convinced them that the ratings are going to beat them, they have just really come out hustling.
6-0, the Scarlet Knights lead. Here is Farrell moving out, and Neal, number 10, has taken his place.
That gives Georgia Tech some more quickness at third guard.
Craig Neal in the ball game. Riggins. Oh, the interception. Look at this as Dalrymple has two. A risky pass at best.
The point I made at the opening of the show, Dalrymple has a tough time dunking the ball, and yet he's one of the fine rebounders in the country from the guard position.
Look at this press right now. And it's broken up to Zucker. Zucker going down the lane, and he'll keep possession. The ball swatted out of his hands.
Good shot of Sally, who has grown considerably. In fact, if Sally were a high school senior right now, Georgia Tech probably wouldn't be recruiting him. He was extremely thin, about 4 inches shorter, and basically grew into a top prospect and an outstanding player.
Considered a #1 draft choice for somebody. Moore feeds to Riggins. Can't make the bucket. Pulled on by Sally. Look at this pass, intended for Neal. It skipped out of bounds off Neal's fingertips, and the Scarlet Knights have the ball back, leading by a score of 6-2 in the first few minutes of play here at Madison Square Garden, which has already have the Rutgers fans very well aroused. Brown, and it's taken away by Mark Price. He leads the pack. This is Zucker going up. He fouled him, but the basket is count.
Greg Littlepage trying to get Zucker's attention there. Just should never have permitted that basket. Mark Price with the quick hands, but it was Sally who stopped the penetration, sealed it off, and then Price caught it from the back. Zucker made a good effort to get back, but still permitted Price to get the shot off. And now a very fine free throw shooter has a chance to make it 3. This good start by Rutgers is not, by any stretch of the imagination, apathy on Rutgers' part.
And Price with the miss. Price is listed 6'1". There's the tap, and Sally goes up again. Although 6'1" is suspect in his case. Some say it's under 6 feet, but he plays as if he's way above the 6-foot margin. The man from Enid, Oklahoma, a projected #1 draft.
Good shot of Bobby Cremens from the Bronx. Was well quoted about his coming home. This is the first time he has coached in Madison Square Garden. And the Georgia Tech team, interestingly, is staying at the Waldorf, where Bobby Cremens was once a bellhop between his senior year at South Carolina for Frank McGuire and his hoped-for opportunity to make it in the pros. He did not become a pro basketball player. Tell you what, though, folks, he's become one fine college coach.
He has that, and Sally has now tied the ball game with his free throws at 6-6. Moore. Datica. And Datica looking for an opening. Steve Brown gets off the shot. Rebound pulled down by Georgia Tech. They're on the run. This is Neal. And Neal puts it up and in. Craig Neal, a sophomore from Washington, Indiana. His dad, Stan, was his high school coach. And he's called Noodles, called the Magician.
He's also a very good high jumper.
Double dribble. Timeout. Score, Georgia Tech 8 and Rutgers 6. And suddenly Georgia Tech has taken the lead. Although they trailed by a score of 6-0, they have now roared back with 8, and they're out in front.
Out here, it's me alone against the course. But in the financial world, you need all the help you can get. You need the PaineWebber Army behind you.
Even golf legends can use some financial backup. PaineWebber is ready to roll, putting all its resources at your command. We believe the quality of life just might depend on the quality of your financial services.
Thank you, PaineWebber. Now that's the kind of army you want behind you.
Nobody has a tougher position than a pro defensive back. And nobody sweats more. But I don't shower with deodorant soap because I made a break from that stuff. A clean break with Ivory. Look, what you see is basic natural soap. And what you get is an honest clean. Some soaps cover you with smelly perfumes or deodorants. That stuff doesn't get you clean. Ivory makes me feel clean and smell clean. That's an honest clean.
Make a clean break with Ivory. No soap can get you cleaner, no matter who you're up against.
A note about Lloyd Moore. He's the Rutgers center, 6'9", his weight listed at 260. He has to weigh in the day before the game. If he doesn't hit the prescribed weight, he doesn't start. If he doesn't make weight the day of the game, he doesn't play. Against Princeton, he made the weight and started. Against Loyola, made weight the day of the game, not the day before, played just 4 minutes. He's a junior. He went to Marquette, transferred there for his freshman year, and he made weight for this game.
He's going to have to play 40 minutes if he stays out of foul trouble. He won't have any problem making weight tomorrow. If they can keep him out of the fridge tonight, he's going to lose a few. Georgia Tech really pushes it up and down the floor. This club very much reflects their coach. They play tough, almost nasty, very little in the way of gimmicks. They just get after you. Boy, as a player, Bobby Cremins was just that kind of player. Not a good shooter, but what a tough customer. Only he's got some guys out there that can shoot.
Now Riggins looking for Zucker, and Zucker forces it up, and he was hammered as he did. On the play, Hammonds came down in the paint. But there was another hand that reached out prior to Hammonds. It was Dalrymple who got there first on the foul.
Zucker was really a good-looking freshman. He's had some knee problems. And now here he is in his junior year. He's had a big summer. Had averaged 20 points a game in the Maccabean games and 30 in the final against Israel as he led the U.S. team to the gold.
Datica is limping. He's at the other end of the court right now, and he looks like he can barely move. Number 10 for Rutgers. He's hobbling.
And that's his left ankle.
Here's Price from outside. Rebound. He'll have to do something about Datica unless he can shake this off all of a sudden.
The left ankle for a right-handed jump shooter is crucial. That's the one they get their lift from. He's definitely hobbling.
Number 10. It's all tied at 8, and Riggins. Rutgers takes the lead 10-8. Now Neal on the outside. 14:25 to go in the first half as Neal gets it up. And Neal gets his rebound. And now it's Riggins bringing it down. Riggins was tugged at as he came down by Dalrymple. Datica now goes off. Number 32 is Bailey Alston, who has moved in now for the Scarlet Knights. And Datica is being attended to on the sidelines. He gave it a game try and tried to limp his way through, but finally was taken out of the ball game. This is Brown. 10-8. Rutgers is leading. Inside. Good pass, but too hard for Moore to handle. Fast break. Neal up front, and he's got it.
Neal got the layup and 3 photographers. Well, he's showing those great legs on that last move to the hoop.
One of those photographers got a real close-up that time.
They did.
10-10.
He's also got a lens in one eye. Oh my, one of life's embarrassing moments.
Dalrymple will make the throw in. Dalrymple from New York, went to school in St. Johnsboro, Vermont, known for his great rebounding. Bounce pass in heavy traffic, but they keep possession.
Greg Neal's performance is very key to this club. Last year they called Georgia Tech the thin gold line. They were good enough to tie for the regular season in the ACC and then won the tournament to be Atlantic Coast Conference champions, but they were just not enough numbers, not enough depth.
Hammonds, ball squirted free, and Dalrymple recovers. It's a 10-10 game.
Excuse me, Bob, this was especially true in the backcourt where Price and Dalrymple just basically went every game for 40 minutes. Very similar to Lou Carnesecca's problem this year with Rowan and, help me with the point guard, Mark Jackson. who are running into difficulty with overtime games and just having that extra sprint of energy when it counts.
Incidentally, St. John's and Georgetown will go at it at the Garden on Saturday afternoon, preceded by NYU CCNY.
We'll have a chance to talk to Lou Carnesecca live at halftime. We'll talk to him about his pin numbers and 3 straight overtime games.
An air ball by Riggins. Look at this. This is a 4-on-1 break. Price and Sally and Dalrymple. That's passing the ball.
Beautiful. Looked like a North Carolina team in the first game.
Long pass up to Moore. Georgia Tech leads now 12-10. The Yellow Jackets, the Ramblin' Wreck out in front. There's a block that time as Bailey Alston was going baseline.
Here's the last Georgia Tech basket. Mark Price now out in front, goes to the defense, leaves it hang. Sally, instead of charging, shoots it down under the bounce to Dalrymple. Superb passing, and reflects the unselfishness that is very much a part of this Georgia Tech team. Here's an interesting stat. Each of the 5 starters for Georgia Tech on a game night has led the team in scoring, has also led the team in rebounding. That's an incredible stat for balance.
I'll say. Dwayne Farrell is back in. Hammonds, by the way, committed that last foul. The Yellow Jackets with a lead of 12-10. Offensive foul committed that last time by Brown. And with the ball is Dalrymple. Oh, right in the hands of Zucker.
Those were the kind of plays that Zucker made as a freshman. He was a very smart player. And he got into trouble with those knee injuries and just really hasn't recovered.
Now Zucker, Steve Brown. That Sally can get up in the air, can't he? Look at this 2-on-1 break. And Farrell has it. 14-10 Georgia Tech.
Well, they came back in a hurry, didn't they?
And fouled. And Mayfair repeating, Bucky, what I said earlier, that Dick McGuire, Nick's head scout, said that all 5 Georgia Tech starters, in his opinion, will all be NBA. They'll all make it, which would be some achievement if it actually comes true someday.
I don't doubt it.
And Sally feeds.
The only one that's even soft in that one might be Dalrymple because of his suspect outside shooting, at least the NBA level.
We have 11:28 to go. Hands up to the face. Georgia Tech leads 14-10. You're watching college basketball from Madison Square Garden.
I'd like you to meet one of my daddy's road-ready teddies. These are very special little critters for us at All-American Chevrolet because they represent the care and dedication my daddy gives every used car. And when he's satisfied, he puts one of these little fellers right inside. And then I add a 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty to it. After all, if a boy can't trust his daddy, who can he trust? So y'all come on down. Pick out the teddy of your choice and see me, Steve Baker. And my daddy.
At All-American Chevrolet in Middletown.
Are you knocking yourself out looking for advertising that works?
Yeah.
You've tried almost everything, right? Newspapers, radio, even direct mail, and you're still not getting results, right?
Right.
Well, cable advertising is the answer. Cable reaches the market and customers your business needs. The channel selection offers you, the advertiser, the media variety to achieve those elusive results. Call TKR Advertising today at 356-1220. We've got the solution.
Have a chance to see Dwayne Farrell here at the other end coming off the Tech. Steve Brown misses the shot. Sally again rips it down and throws the great outlet pass. Number 33, Dwayne Farrell, easing over the top, 6'6", sophomore from Towson, Maryland, not even demonstrating his 40-inch vertical leap, just tucked that one away softly.
And one of the continual parade of ACC Rookies of the Year, Dwayne Farrell.
He was the most recent. Last year he was the ACC Rookie of the Year, preceded by Bruce Dalrymple, preceded by Mark Price, and Tom Hammonds is, well, he doesn't have a lock, but if the balloting were held today, he would be the 4th straight for Bobby Clemens at Georgia Tech.
Now Brown, 15-second shot clock. Riggins
Sally on Riggins is giving Riggins problems. A 7-footer with long arms, almost like a spider.
And you've noted that Mark Peterson, a 6'9", 240 sop, has moved in the lineup now for Rutgers.
Fouled by Bailey Austin.
Austin, last foul. We're approaching the midway point of the first half, and it's Georgia Tech up by 4, 14-10. Ford is also into the lineup now for Georgia Tech. Antoine Ford, a 7-foot sophomore. Ford from New York to the Bronx, also from All Hallows High School. Foul was by Peterson.
Played behind Olin Polonais, now the fine center for the University of Virginia.
And as noted, All Hallows, the same school that Coach Bobby Crevens and associate head coach George Felton went to. Sally lost the ball as he was about to go up.
Boy, is he agile. Sally moves like a cat at 7 feet.
All by himself for the 2-pointer from the side. Daley Alston from Henderson, North Carolina. He's a freshman. And Rutgers pulls within 2. Rutgers has a chance to tie this game. They're picking up these loose balls. Here's Steve Brown. Offensive foul.
Oh my, that was that's not the shot, of course, that Craig Littlepage wanted. Steve Brown, playing in the shadow of Brian Ellerby for 2 years, has finally gotten his opportunity and has really been a pleasant surprise. That time he just took it in too deep. There was no place to go. And especially against a team that you don't want to make the hurried bad shot against. The optimum situation would be bring it back, start it out, take a little off the clock, and make Tech, who was not a terribly deep team even this year, work a little on half-court defense.
Now Brown picked up his 3rd foul, so he's gone to the sidelines. And Miles Dixon, number 22, is in. Dalrymple got free all by himself.
Coming down the floor now. Look at Sally out here in the front of the press. You think I got problems? Dixon is looking over 7-foot Sally, trying to find an outlet.
Now the report on Datica, injured the left foot, may be back. We don't know, but we do know that Brown has 3 fouls right now, so they could have problems right there in that backcourt.
Well, Datica is called upon to be a shooter, an outstanding medium-range shooter, averaged 33 a game in high school. So if Miles Dixon and Bailey Alston, replacements for him, can stick that medium jumper, it won't be that serious. But I know Craig Littlepage is counting on Datica being back in there, if at all possible.
Emery Ward is at it, a 6'6" freshman. Peterson goes out. Price at the line. Price, a 78 free throw shooter.
Now keep your eye on Emery Ward. His nickname is Rambo because that's the way he plays. He throws his body around like he has a spare.
Last year, Price, and you saw putting those balls in the basket, at one stage hit 31 out of 31 free throws. Georgia Tech has opened up a 6-point lead. We're past the midway point of the first half. Rutgers number 30 is Darren Campbell. He comes from McKinley High School, Washington, D.C. Last year's star of Rutgers, John Battle, went there. As the Georgetown stars, Billy Martin and Gene Smith.
10 seconds on the shot clock.
Yes, they better hurry. Now we're down to 5. 3. Ward forces it. And as they wrestle for the ball, it will be a tie-up. And will go toward the right.
Rutgers that time in a 1-4 set, really in a ball control situation. So far they've done a nice job of controlling it with 8:40 to go. And Georgia Tech has 18, Rutgers 12, but that's the kind of a tempo and meter that Craig Littlepage feels he has to sustain if he's going to stay close enough to make a run at Tech with the hope of winning.
Hammonds is back in for the Yellow Jackets. Sally looking to the side for Hammonds, in low to Dalrymple. He's being guarded by Miles Dixon, and now it is Sally with the stuff.
2-2-1, full court press now. Now Sally's in the back of the press. Talk about versatility. Dalrymple doesn't often get caught with those.
That's a third.
That's his third
foul on Dalrymple. Lloyd Moore returns to the lineup, as does Craig Neal. Bobby Cremens had some interesting quotes as we see Craig Littlepage and Darren Campbell speaking across the way about Sally. He said, Sally got so much publicity before the start of the season about the fact that he would be a #1 draft and a high draft, perhaps the first draft, that he is not quite as hungry as he was last year. Perhaps it's just a bit too much publicity. But he said psychologically, it's very difficult. We see the Rutgers coach, Craig Littlepage, to live under the fact that you were being touted so highly. He's expecting to come back and develop the same intensity.
Well, that's the same mentality as to why teams don't repeat in the Super Bowl and don't repeat in the World Series and don't repeat as NBA champions. There's no question that success takes a little of that hunger off. I think Cremens makes a good point.
That was Farrell. And we have the timeout called by Rutgers. Well, Georgia Tech now is on a surge. They have opened up a 10-point lead with 8 in a row. They lead 22-12, 7:40 to go in the half.
You would probably assume that an automobile like this would be a foreign luxury performance car. It certainly looks like one, and feels like one, and acts like one. But it's not. It's a Buick Electra. And everything about it is extraordinary, except the price. My, what will these Americans think of next?
Escape to a technological breakthrough, the Data General 1 portable. A full-size screen, IBM PC software compatibility, 2 built-in disk drives. The Data General 1, it gives you everything the leading PC gives you, in a size so small, it could fit inside the PC. And it gives you something else, freedom from your desk. The Data General 1.
With 7:40 to go, Georgia Tech now just easing out. Sally getting the unmolested slam dunk underneath. A fine pass that time through the maze. Mark Price here putting up a jump shot. The black jersey's moving to the hoop. Dwayne Farrell over the top. Puts the ball back up and in. A very fine touch as Farrell.
Bobby Cremens also had another quote of interest about Sally. He said that he has developed more than any player that he, Cremens, has ever coached. By the way, he was discussing being ranked #1. He said it's good and bad. Good because it certainly has helped recruiting, gave him great publicity. Bad because it's made some of the players a bit too complacent. Zucker on the miss. Rebound. It is a dive by Price, but he took the ball out of bounds.
Is that some effort? There's your All-American boy, a cover boy on most every preseason All-American this year. He just ate about a pint of varnish. And on a game that isn't conference, they're not supposed to be pressed to win. That attitude permeates this club, and it comes from the coach.
In the first game, Bucky, the ball punched away that time from Zucker. In the first game, as we saw, Carolina opened up a quick lead, and now Georgia Tech is done.
Excuse me, but Neal that time reached behind, created the loose ball. Sally wanted to go get it, but he saw it coming all the way, but he saw more and couldn't figure out a way to get around him. It's like running into a condo. The ball just eased out of bounds, and then Rutgers gets it back.
Turn right at the corner, is that it?
And you need to take your lunch if you're going around him.
Zucker looks for an outlet. Steve Brown is back. Now into Moore, into traffic, and Moore gets it up off course. Rebound pulled up by Hammonds. 7 minutes to go in this half. Georgia Tech's up by 10 points. Sally inside, triple team, leaving the space for Price. And he takes advantage of it.
Boy, that's that inside-outside balance. It just kills you. You got good shooters on the perimeter. They put it in. And Sally draws a crowd with the ball in there, rightfully so, and he kicks it back out.
10 in a row for Georgia Tech. And we saw that Price now is 6. And he's on. The Price is right.
Okay. Bob Cremens upset at Sally that time, going out that far, trying to make a steal. They want Sally to be the pickup man in the back, the great deterrent at the end of the press. He doesn't want him stealing passes at midcourt, and especially getting fouls.
24-12, 6.5 to go, first half. Lloyd Moore a long way from the hoop, and Sally's right there with him. This is Brown going along the baseline. Price came over and commits the foul.
You know, early in the game, Moore was coming out against the Georgia Tech pressure, handling the ball, and it was a good outlet for Rutgers, because the Georgia Tech guards, while pressuring the Rutgers guards, were basically neutralized. Sally kind of let Lloyd Moore play a little out there, and Lloyd was very uncomfortable. It at least was good entry against the pressure. Now Sally's coming out to take charge, and Moore better improve his ball handling skills.
So Steve Brown is at the line. 24-12, Tech leading, 6:25 to go in the half. Co-captained the team with Ed Zucker. And Steve is from Trenton, New Jersey. 75% free throw shooter. Rutgers down by 12 right now. And the free throws will go. Moore trying to keep it alive. He finally grabs it and shoots it. And we'll move in the other direction.
Emery Ward, number 12 for Rutgers, gave Rutgers some muscle on the board that time. That's you don't see that happen very often to Georgia Tech. They got some hitters up there.
Georgia Tech with 10 in a row. They've opened up a 24-12 lead under the 6-minute mark. Farrell looking inside. This is Neal. Sally comes out. Now Farrell. Hammonds has gone in deep. This is Price. And they are keeping it on the move. Good quick pass to Hammonds.
Nice pass by Craig Neal.
Georgia Tech lead, 26-12.
A 12-point-in-a-row surge by Georgia Tech has opened up a 26-12 lead. So reminiscent as we watch Bobby Cremens of Carolina opening it up in the first game.
Yeah, nothing, no explosions, just the gradual, relentless pressure. They just keep chipping away. Steal here, offensive rebound there, jump shot here.
Oh, barely got a shot off that time. That was Emery Ward, and Sally.
That was experience. Mark Price and John Sally communicated with their eyes that time at the head of the key. He told him where he wanted it. Sally did. Price took it to the lane, came back against the grain. Beautiful play.
14 points in a row has opened up a lead at 28-12. You're watching College
A preview of the Pantages famous Renaissance. We will astound the ones who remember the old famous Snuffies in Scotch Plains, New Jersey. Children's dinners are only $2.95. They love the monkey and the clown. Dinners starting from $8.95 with shrimp cocktail, homemade soups, and the unbeatable Greek salad bar. Pantages Renaissance is ideal for the sit-down eating clam bar, for businessmen's lunches and executives' cocktail parties. Pantages Renaissance is known for generations where wedding dreams come true. For $26.95, you get a 7-course dinner, 5.5 hours of open bar, homemade wedding cakes, silver candelabras and flowers, and of course the Opa Opa Flaming Jubilee Show on Mr. Pantages.
Give me a call and get a free birthday anniversary cake and a free Opa Opa drink. Bring or send your friends to the famous and be a famous. Opa Opa, the Pantages way. Come on down.
Georgia Tech in transition. Mark Price cuts across the grain, takes half the defense with him. Sally posting up down there with smaller Rutgers players, just slams it down through. Well, that's the injury we had seen earlier, and we had received word that Rick Danica may be coming back. As we see him taking off the floor now, we're not so optimistic that he'll be back.
Rutgers last scored with 10-12 to go in the half. There are now 5 minutes to go in the half. That made the score 14-12 Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech now has run off 14 in a row in about 5 minutes. And they still have a chance. Not now. Riggins breaks that streak at 14. It's 28-14. Hammonds inside. Neal back to Hammonds. Neal. And quickly they move back inside again as Sally is 2 more.
Again to the press, 2-2-1 full court pressure. Both half court man and full court zone. Jackets really get after you.
Alston moving in from the left side, and as the bodies converge, the whistle. Sally incidentally now has come up with 8 points in the ball game. Price is 6, and Dalrymple has 6. Sally on his second foul.
Second personal foul. Miles Dixon, number 22, in for Rutgers.
Anthony Sherrod over talking to the Georgia Tech bench. 6'6" freshman from Millen, Georgia. Kremen's had a very good recruiting year.
Dixon, number 22 in the lineup for Rutgers. Zucker, Alston's at the line. Moore on the left-hand side. 4:22 to go in this half. Off course. So Bailey Alston from Henderson, North Carolina, getting set for his next one. He's been 63% at the line. Hasn't seen much service in the way of minutes. And the average went down. 30-14. Neal, good bounce pass. And the recipient on the left-hand side was Dwayne Farrell. Farrell now has 6 points. 32-14. Intercepted. Lloyd Moore tugged at Farrell as he was going by. So it'll be 1-1.
Oh, Moore out in the middle of the floor. That's no time for him to demonstrate his ball stealing ability. If there was one time he should have played that Matador defense and allowed the ball to go by, it was then. They've got to have more in there if they're going to make a run. There just aren't any other bodies over there protect to contend with.
And another whistle on the play as Hammonds was trying to get up. You know, the Rutgers women have a fine team. They're 10-1, and they're paced by Sue Wicks, averaging over 25 points a game and over 10 rebounds. Her points second only to Cheryl Miller in the USA. That was the third foul by Alston. 1-1 for Hammonds.
He is going to be a very good basketball player. We talked earlier about the 3 previous Rookie of the Year awards for Georgia Tech. There are many who feel that this is the best prospect of the bunch.
From Preston, Florida. 34-14, Georgia Tech, 4:02 to go. Here's Darren Campbell. Alston is out. And look what Georgia Tech is doing. They're pressing right now. Short converge on that press, don't they? Over and they get him in the corner. That's
and Rutgers is playing right into their hands too. They're going down there and they're attacking the press. And I really think for a while here with this 20-point deficit, they have to get it over half court and play with it a little bit, milk that clock. Going down there in 7 seconds and putting up a shot without much hope of getting on that offensive board just means that that black and gold train is going to be running the other way in 10 seconds.
The foul was on Antoine Ford, the 7-foot sophomore for the Ramblin' Wreck. And Dixon having problems with the free throw line. Last 4 of them bouncing off the rim and out of bounds.
Well, Rutgers is 30-23 in Madison Square Garden, but they have lost their last 7 in a row, and they have not had easy opponents, and they don't have one tonight.
34-14, we're under 4 minutes to go, and Georgia Tech way out in front of the stage of the game. Zucker, Campbell in the corner, looking to get somebody open, and Dixon shoots over Georgia Tech. And we'll go down to the other side of the court.
Fouled by Lloyd Moore.
Lloyd Moore on the foul.
Lloyd Moore went over 2 guys, Bob. They both get to shoot. Is that
well, he can go for the spare now.
Bobby Kremen's still working hard. 20-point lead. Talking to Dwayne Farrell. They played last night at home. They came up today from Atlanta, return tomorrow, and play Saturday at home. Saturday afternoon, like an NBA schedule. If this man can come through for him, Antoine Ford, and give him He is already a fine athlete. It's just a confidence thing, a little bit of strength. He can really motor for 7 feet.
Score 36-14. He's spoken about the New York connection with Georgia Tech. Dalrymple, Sally Ford, Martinson, head coach Cremens, Belton, and Hebron. They also have some Georgia natives on that team. In fact, a high of 3 Georgia natives. Georgia Tech has scored 22 of the last 26 points. Carr, Sherrod, and Reese all come from Georgia. Campbell on the outside. We approach the 3-minute-to-go mark. And it bounces right in the hands of Hammonds. That bounce pass a little too close. Up front, Terrell. So he was the recipient of that pass, and Craig Littlepage says, hey, let's call a timeout. Former head coach, University of Pennsylvania for the past 3 years, has not been happy as what he's seen so far this evening. As Georgia Tech now leads 38-14. And this is part of us being disconsolate.
Well, the relentless Georgia Tech pressure. They're off and running again. Hammonds picks up the loose ball. Neal throws a beautiful touch pass to Dwayne Farrell. He takes a little shot, then goes right up and slams it down through. What Craig Littlepage is talking to his team about right now is something other than the realities of what are going on here tonight. He's obviously outmatched. It's 24 points now and growing. This isn't the Ivy League. You don't see plays and players like he's looking at tonight. He knows he has a massive rebuilding job. He has no seniors on the team. The 5 freshmen that are there, he did not recruit. And when you think about the losses from last year, this is a very young Rutgers team. And they're just way over their head tonight.
And you're looking at some of the games coming up next week. Army Northeastern and St. John's against Seton Hall. Wednesday, it's underway at 6:30. And then on Saturday, this is coming up in a week, Georgetown, Seton Hall, one of the 2 games. Rutgers' 12th point came at 10-12 of this half, and a 13th and 14 points with 4:48 to go in the half.
I can't believe that Bob Cremens is getting benevolent. He's back in a 2-3 zone after all the trouble the pressure has caused Rutgers. I have to believe it's in consideration to the 3 games in 4 days schedule.
Before Riggins came through, 24 points, Georgia Tech during that spell in which Rutgers scored first at 10-12 and then 4:48. Here's Neal, and Neal puts it up. The rebound fought for, it comes out, and it is... Well, Ford missed that last one. Here's Neal getting it back, intended for Sherrod, but the pass, Neal saying it tipped out of bounds against Rutgers. Zucker was shaken up. No satisfaction to Neal, who's still complaining.
That's Bobby Cremens. That's Bobby Cremens as a player at South Carolina. You know, 22-point lead, and he wants it.
Under 2 minutes now in this half, 38-16. The Ramblin' Wreck is out in front. Zucker loses the ball as he tried to get it up. Riggins gets off the shot. Riggins leaps, can't get it, and it's off the hands of Neal, pops into the hands of Dixon. Beautiful shot by Campbell.
Smooth stroke. We just had a report that Datica will be x-rayed tomorrow, and we will not see him tonight. I think that's a good move. There's no need to force him back into to this game. It wouldn't make a difference.
Ford tried to punch it home, couldn't quite do it. The earlier shot taken by Jack Mansell of Sharon, Pennsylvania, and the follow-up by Ford on the play. Ford committing the foul as he followed up. Coach Littlepage having a few words with Darren Campbell across the way as we have 1 minute and 6 seconds to go, and Moore is at the line. He's the only returning starter last year, tallest on the team, 6'9", 63% at the free throw line. So let's see what Moore does. They're having a tough job in free throws. Minute to go in the half. 38-18, Georgia Tech. Under a minute. Neal. Dixon reached in. And both teams in the 1-and-1, so we'll have the free throws coming up.
That's his first personal foul.
Neal at the line.
Miles Dixon, another freshman. Quick, explosive. They're just, they're picking up what we are wont to call in basketball experience, but it's yet to be explained to me what a beating like this does for you. Except you go back and practice and work hard, so hopefully it never happens again.
40-18. Not only is Georgia Tech doing the job offensively, but defensively, holding Rutgers to 18 points with 45 seconds to go in the half. Campbell. And as it comes down, it's Dixon. Campbell, he fakes, he feeds. Moore wasn't expecting it, nor was Riggins, and it popped around and finally out of bounds. But it went out of bounds off Georgia Tech. Dixon making a throw in with 34 seconds to go. Somber, Craig Littlepage looks on. In the corner, Riggins. Oh, they come out quickly on him, don't they?
Boy, Rutgers just throwing that. They're playing chuck and duck, and they're doing it with the wrong team.
Burrell on a fine pass on a 4-on-1 break. Now we're down to 15 seconds to go. Burrell has gone 5 for 5. He's come up with 10 points in this half. We're under 10 seconds, 42-18. Who'll get the last shot? From Zucker. Rebound, who's going to put it up? Campbell. And he scores. Campbell at the buzzer. So it's 42-20 at halftime. And Rutgers is a little to yell about right now, even though they are way, way behind. Well, we've got a second half coming up right now. There you see the score at halftime. I know you'll enjoy our halftime interviews, and then we'll be all set for more action right here at Madison Square Garden.
With 4 points. Set to go with the second half of play. Back to Bob Wolf and Bucky Waters.
Okay, Bruce, 42-20, and certainly a discouraging statistic that you alluded to, Bucky, in the first half. When Rutgers did have an opportunity at the free throw line, they went 2 for 9, while Georgia Tech was 10 for 12. That's a spot that they might have at least done something about, but they trail now by 22 points.
Well, we talked to Lou Carnesecca at the half. He made a good point that Craig Littlepage is not going to be screaming and shouting and going for a Vince Lombardi or a Newt Rockne comeback. I'm sure he didn't scream and shout, and I'm also sure he's talking now about poise. He's talking about a superior team, and he's talking about a team that he wants to come out and play well. And I really don't expect Craig Littlepage to be up with the whip, trying to turn this team around with that kind of an approach. I think he'd like to see a finish that's poised and just do the very best they can and not get too bent out of shape about it.
Well, you certainly get a good indication of what the player has in the way of character and heart as we see Ward go up for the 2 points when they are operating so far behind. Right now it's 42-22. Moore jostled that free, and Hammonds puts it up.
One of the Rutgers losses was to North Carolina earlier in the year, a substantial beating, but Emory Ward did come up with 13 rebounds off the bench. I'm sorry, 13 points off the bench against the Tar Heels. So there's
that's conjecture, I guess you'd say.
Yes.
The third foul that time on Moore, and Hammonds is at the line.
Everybody in every business has days like this or nights like this. One of the difficulties in coaching is you have so many people looking over your shoulder when you have yours.
So Hammonds gets set for the next one. Georgia Tech was leading 14-12 with 10-12 to go in the first half. Scored 14 straight. Rutgers went scoreless for more than 5 minutes, and that sort of broke things open. And Rutgers finally scored with 4:48 to snap the streak, but Georgia Tech came back with 10 more unanswered points before Rutgers scored 6 in the last 2:35 of the half. Here's Zucker. Pulled down by Hammonds. So Georgia Tech scored 28 of the last 38 points of the half. And right now, as we see Sally with 10 points, it's now 46-22. There's a travel call.
Well, that's a play Steve Brown should have seen the defense and not passed. That's not really Riggins' turnover. There's Bobby Cremins' team coming out pressing. He wants to make sure that apathy doesn't set in with that big lead. So he's going back with the same game plan he started the game. But I'm sure if they can maintain this lead or increase it, we'll see more of the Georgia Tech bench.
His sally is a beautiful touch, as you saw. Shot up as straight as an arrow, banked it very nicely off the glass. It's 48-22 now, Georgia Tech. Bobby Cremins, by the way, says that this team, the most talented he's ever coached. Moore almost had that ball taken away, and it's a 10-second violation.
Boy, Moore looks so uncomfortable back there trying to handle that press.
So Craig Littlepage at the 10-second violation, hands on hips, is saying, what can happen next? How did my big man get out there to handle the ball?
Well, it's a good ploy against man-for-man pressure because the big center is going to bring the other center with him in all probability, and they don't press too well in the midcourt area. But against his own trap, there's no place for him.
Dalrymple follows, and as he did, the whistle. The only loss that Georgia Tech had was to undefeated and second-ranked Michigan. That was the second game of the season. And since then, the Yellow Jackets have 11 straight wins coming to this game. Moore now has his 4th foul. Price from far out. Wow, what a shot. 50-22. Price is 8 points. Brown, Ward is on the left side. Price is guarding him, and Zucker finds an opening.
Good. Rutgers coming out playing well. They're playing. They don't have their tail between their legs. They're playing. We have to point out too that Anthony Duckett, many feel, is their best player, a freshman who really beat out Lloyd Moore for the starting center position. Is injured, not playing. They needed his quickness tonight.
He's just a terrific outside shot. Mark Price with 2 long-range shots. Both are nothing but net. It's 52-24. Ward. Zucker. Another drive by Zucker. Sally went up to pin that one, but before Sally pinned it up against the glass, the foul is committed as Hammonds came in and commits the foul. Number 20. Bobby Cremins saying, well, can you read that hand language, Bucky?
Not really. 38 years old. Only his hairdresser knows. No, it's real. Atlantic Coast Conference will gray you even if you don't have it in the jeans. And he's overdone it.
And Zucker on the line.
Zucker at the line. He'll shoot a couple. It's 52-24. (52-25). We're early in the second half. Who's going to pick it up? Farrell does. Price quick pass. Sally. And a whistle is a travel call as Sally was trying to evade Moore.
Hammonds showing displeasure that time. He was open in the middle, didn't get the ball, and let everyone know, including a sideward glance to the coaching staff, he's not thrilled with that.
Rutgers has gone to the free throw line 11 times. Actually, they made 3 for 11 at the free throw line. So they've having a dismal night there. Zucker. This is Peterson with a bounce pass to Riggins, and Riggins goes up against the side of the backboard. This is Price up front, and Price lets fly. Gets the good roll.
What a touch.
He can shoot, can't he?
He really can, and he's got area code range. He's a 6-footer, and he has that smooth release. He gets a lot of it from his legs.
Zucker. Won't go. Who's going to pick it up? Rutgers does. 54-25, Georgia Tech. 16:30 to go, second half. Riggins looking. Peterson on the right side of the paint comes out to get the ball. Riggins inside. Riggins with the turnaround. And the foul is called. Georgia Tech, ACC Conference.
Followed by Emory Ward.
12-1 their record. 11 in a row.
Says 3 team foul.
Ward committing the last foul. And here's Price with the ball. Led Tech in scoring last year. Set a school record in steals. And 150 assists last season. ACC Player of the Year. And Sally, as it comes down, it pops out of bounds, but it is right in the hands of Dalrymple on the rescue. He gets the ball over to Zucker by mistake, and Riggins has it now.
Rutgers just doesn't look good trying to run with it.
That could have been a 3-on-1 break, but Dalrymple just couldn't get the handles. The ball sailed out of bounds. We have 15:50 to go in the second half, and Rutgers leads 54, Tech leads 54-25. You're watching college basketball from Madison Square Garden.
In November, my daddy wanted to give everyone who purchased a used car a free Thanksgiving Day turkey. But New Jersey wouldn't allow us to give away the turkey. So I decided to sell the turkey and give away my used cars. Look at this cute little fellow over here. I call him Tom, and he's only $4,295. And with that, you get absolutely free this 1984 Chevrolet Chevette. So y'all come on down. Pick out the Tom of your choice and see me, Steve Baker. Or my daddy, if you can catch him. Hey, Dad!
Are you knocking yourself out looking for advertising that works? Yeah. You've tried almost everything, right? Newspapers, radio, even direct mail, and you're still not getting results, right? Right. Well, cable advertising is the answer. Cable reaches the market and customers your business needs. The channel selection offers you, the advertiser, the media variety to achieve those elusive results. Call TKR Advertising today at 356-1220. We've got the solution.
A preview of the Pantages' famous Renaissance. We will astound the ones who remember the old famous Snuffies in Scotch Plains, New Jersey. Children's dinners are only $2.95. They love the monkey and the clown. Dinners starting from $8.95 with shrimp cocktail, homemade soups, and the unbeatable Greek salad bar. Pantages Renaissance is ideal for the sit-down eating clam bar, for businessmen's lunches and executives' cocktail parties. Pantages Renaissance is known for generations where wedding dreams come true. For $26.95, you get a 7-course dinner, 5.5 hours of open bar, homemade wedding cakes, silver candelabras and flowers, and of course the Opa Opa Flaming Jubilee Show on Mr. Pantages.
Give me a call and get a free birthday anniversary cake and a free Opa Opa drink. Bring or send your friends to the famous and be a famous. Opa Opa, the Pantages way. Come on down.
And another one. Rutgers came in with a 5-7 record. Tech 12-1. Sally inside to Hammonds, and Hammonds with a complete turnaround. The miss underneath by Dalrymple. Brown with the ball for the Scarlet Knights. Loose slip, but is picked up by Zucker.
Price made the steal and then got caught from behind. Steve Brown not pleased with the steal. Reached out and got a little piece of Price.
And he committed his 4th foul in so doing.
One thing that Craig Littlepage can and should think about as he watches this very proficient Georgia Tech machine in operation. They came to the New York area in 1982-83. They lost to Iona 81-57. Bruce Beck and I did that ball game. Since that year, they have gone 18-11, 27-8, and now here they are 12-1. So great programs aren't built overnight.
Well, at the other end, we saw the goal by Farrell, and Riggins comes back and answers, so it's now 56-29. This is Hammonds. And everybody can play in this game right now. It's opening up inside for both teams. 58-29.
Another point about that game in the Meadowlands a couple of years ago, there was a guard named Price, and he looked like anything but a cover boy his senior year. He really struggled in that 81-57 pasting.
Good scoop back that time by Farrell. This is Price with the ball, and Price good feed, and it is Dalrymple for 2. Mark Price, All-American.
Yes, he is. And he plays the D. Watch him play Stevie Brown now, just as though the score was tied.
How tall would you say he really is, Bucky?
He's just a shade over 6. I stood next to him in a warm-up, and he's not as tall.
Look at this. He punched the ball away from Brown. This is Price. He ran up as Brown was getting the ball. He punched it out of his hands and went in for the 2, anticipating getting the ball away, and made it 62-29.
And that with a 60-29 lead.
That pass intended inside for Zucker. This is a 3-on-2 break, and it's over to Dalrymple, who decides to move out of the traffic. Price. Now Dalrymple.
That's classy. Here they are with an enormous lead and still working, playing. Just taking Rutgers and just cutting them into little pieces.
Mark Price now has 16 points. He faces the scoring for both sides. He came into the ball game averaging 17. Riggins.
Rejected by Tom Hammonds. Hammonds and Riggins are really going at it one-on-one down in there.
Antoine Ford is returning to the lineup. Hammonds goes out. Here's Neal coming back in. Georgia Tech with the ball. Zucker on the foul. Rutgers has 5 team fouls. Georgia Tech has 1. Now we have Bailey Alston returning.
And Bailey Alston, number 32.
Zucker moves off to the sidelines. Riggins goes out. Darren Campbell is also in for the Scarlet Knights. The ladies team I spoke about, they're not the Scarlet Women, they are the Lady Knights, in case you're wondering.
Make sure you get that straight, because I want you to get all the mail if you get it wrong.
Now Dalrymple, and Neal from way out.
That was great deal.
If he blossoms as a scorer, in addition to all the other things he does well, to give Tech that much-needed depth in the backcourt, well, we're talking, you know, we're already talking super strong, so you're just icing the cake.
66-29.
Watching the Rutgers bench now, they're just calm. It's like a mural over there. They're just watching an exhibition.
Wow, watch it. Neal came right off to the right side of our table. Jim Hunter working with us at the table was almost knocked back by that one.
I don't have to see the replay. It was a charge. Jim Hunter gets 1-1.
And Neal sort of banged into the wooden bench, and that's why time was called, just to take a look at him there. Apparently he's all right. So we've got a timeout called right now. 66-29. Georgia Tech leads, 12 minutes to go.
Endlich haben wir unsere Spitze erreicht.
Wirklich, ist so solid gebaut.
Schau mal, wie schön der Wagen ist. Ich bin so glücklich.
Europeans are talking about Mitsubishi Galant.
Und weißt du, das Auto ist fast vollkommen hochtechnologisch.
Ich könnte den Wagen fahren.
Voted Germany's most prestigious motoring award. Drive one.
Elegant.
You'll understand. The 1986 Mitsubishi Galant takes you where you want to be.
Fantastisch.
Do you know me? This may seem puzzling, but you know me by sight and by sound. You know my TVs, my stereos. But to be really wired in, I carry the American Express card. As a chairman of Sony, I expect great reception.
To apply for the card, look for an application and take one.
The American Express card, don't leave home without it.
Well, a look over there at the Rutgers bench, and Craig Littlepage and Rutgers fans still whooping it up. But they trail 66-29. Here at Madison Square Garden, Bob Wolf, Bucky Waters, Bruce Beck. Mark Price is now on the bench for Georgia Tech, but he went 5 for 5 in this half. This is Campbell, 7 for 11 overall from the floor. And there was a trip that time as Ward came across. He stumbled over a leg, and there'll be a foul called on a leg going up. Foul was called on Farrell for putting his leg out. Well, look at this difference in the shooting percentage. Isn't that something?
Well, it's very reminiscent of the first game with North Carolina. Superb passing, making that extra pass, getting the great percentage shot, not being teased with a large margin to put up a lot of flyers and try to pad the scoring column.
Peterson, the ball knocked out of his hands. He put it on the floor before he went up, and bang, it was knocked down. It went out off him.
Georgia Tech goes home tomorrow, and then on Saturday afternoon faces Maryland of Charles Lefty Drizel. Prefers to be called Charles now, not Lefty. Yes, a 50-year-old guy, shouldn't be Lefty.
Off Farrell and Ford with the turnaround. And Farrell says, I'll get it back. And he'll make the throw in.
Thinking back to that game in Springfield, the Hall of Fame game to open the season, where Georgia Tech and Michigan really just kind of both were sleepwalking. Michigan won the game. Georgia Tech is a lot better than that.
Dalrymple and a fine pass to Sally, who gets the second opportunity. Sally now has 14 points. Howie Robinson keeping our stats as he does throughout the season at Madison Square Garden. Campbell, Brown, and Campbell from outside.
Campbell, nice looking shooting stroke. He's a big guard. He started early this year, lost his confidence a little bit, especially in that shot. He's a good athlete. Maybe tonight, hitting against one of the top-ranked teams in the Garden, he'll get his confidence back.
68-31. Oh, the alley-oop. Neal to Sally.
You know, Bob Wolf, when Neal let that ball go, I thought he'd thrown it out on 7th Avenue. Sally went above the square. I thought he'd thrown it too far. It looked like the ball looked like it was filled with helium.
Well, Sally's living up to all expectations here.
Yeah, he hasn't hurt his professional bargaining ability any with his performance in here tonight.
Now look at the alley-oop, Bucky.
Here's the alley-oop, alley-oop. Look at that, perfect timing. And of course, Neal, with no pressure on him, was able to measure it carefully. So with Sally's agility, you really don't have to make a perfect pass. He'll make it come out right.
Now Sally has left the game. Hammonds, who was on the sidelines for a few moments, goes out. Peterson goes out, so Sally is there by the side. And for Rutgers, Miles Dixon, number 22, is there in the backcourt holding the ball. This is Campbell. Number 12 is Emory Ward, who's into the lineup.
There's still 3 starters on the floor for Georgia Tech.
That was Riggins forcing the shot. The foul goes against Georgia Tech as Hammonds holds up his hand on this one.
Riggins really eely in there. He reminds me of Pickney, a former Villanova player. The way he moves the ball in the air. He's going to the free throw line a lot. That's indicative of the fact that he's active.
Eric Riggins from Paterson, New Jersey, went to Passaic Tech.
Second team All-Atlantic 10 last year. He's been erratic throughout his career, but never any question about his talent. Just been material.
He's been averaging a little over 15 points a ball game. Right now, he's got 11. And he's the high man so far for Rutgers. Score 70-32, Bucky.
That'll be 10 out of 12 games in double figures, and he's got to do that for this young team. He's the main man, no question about it. Anthony Duckett will have to get back as quickly as possible. They're headed to Atlantic 10 play for real after January and February.
That was Hammonds. The fake cleared the path for him. Everybody went up in the air, and he said, okay, I'll take my one step and put it in. 72-32. Well, you got a suggestion right now for the Scarlet Knights, Bucky.
Yeah, don't stop the clock. Don't stop the clock. Just play hard, take your shots, don't foul anybody. Just don't stop the clock.
8:50 to go. Neal.
Unfortunately, this has always been a game, you know, in a fight. When it's like this, they can stop it. But basketball has to run the time limit.
You're saying there are no TKOs in basketball.
No. They gotta finish.
Hammonds. 74-32. Oh, Rutgers, 32 points. Some job Georgia Tech is doing in that department. Quite aside from their offense.
Well, it's true, but they didn't guard him at the free throw line when they were 2 for 11 in the first half. It was just, I think, a bit of a poise thing, a young team, and Georgia Tech is just so good. They're men. You look out there, they're like men playing against boys.
Here's Campbell. Good shot by Campbell.
Well, that has to be a bright spot.
74-34 is the score. Dalrymple and Farrell down the lane. Farrell, as he got the feed there from Ford, ball knocked out of bounds. Timeout is called. We have 7:45 to go the second half. Georgia Tech leading 74-34. You're watching college basketball from Madison Square Garden.
You know, being a country boy, I guess I've driven about every kind of pickup truck there is. And like my daddy always told me, ain't no truck like a Chevy truck. And that can't be any more true than it is today. For style, dependability, and price. Big or little, two-wheel or four-wheel drive, you cannot beat an all-American Chevy truck. So y'all come on down. Kick a tire or two with me, Steve Baker. That's my daddy.
It's time to awaken to the incredible efficiency of solar power. At Jersey Central Power and Light, we can help you reduce your electric water heating costs dramatically with our solar financing and rebate program designed to save you money now and in the future. Combined with existing federal tax incentives, solar power is an idea whose time has come. Solar energy, just one more way. We put the power in your hands.
Let's look at Tom Hammonds, number 20, 6'8", 210-pounder, the soft jump shot. He really wants the basketball, not a timid freshman. First of all, he's got the body of the heavyweight champion, but he really is a terrific competitor.
Dalrymple from outside at 76-34. Hammonds with 12, Price 16, Farrell 12, Dalrymple 10, Sally 16, Neal 8, Ford 2. A lot of scoring by the Yellow Jackets, and this, I think, was an intended alley-oop intended for Emery Ward, thrown by Miles Dixon, but they just didn't communicate too well. The ball wound up with the cheerleaders. Now Dalrymple leaves, Hammonds leaves, and for Georgia Tech in the ball game, we have Anthony Sherrod, freshman from Millen, Georgia. Also John Martinson, number 32 in the lineup for the Ramblin' Wreck. Neal right now has it. This is Ford, Neal, and Ford looking. Neal, out it goes. Time on the clock. We're down to 12 seconds on the shot clock. And punched out of bounds by Alston. 8 seconds left to go on the shot clock. Sherrod will make the throw in. Down to 5. And Neal feeds, and it is put up and in by Jack Mansell.
Mansell's very popular in Atlanta. Those big, strong kids that the crowd just gets behind, works hard.
Here's Riggins. And here they come on the break. Wow. Neal spun around as he was going down the right side, and there's a lot of spinning going on there in the bench, trying to conjure up what to look for in the future and what they can gain out of this game.
You know Craig Littlepage at all, his mind is already in the palestra. They go down there Saturday to take on Villanova. He's got a tough job recouping from this one, but I think the best thing to do is just walk out of here and forget it. They should never look at this film, ever.
Craig played on 3 Ivy League winners. He was co-captain as a senior at Pennsylvania. 6:13 to go. 80-34, Georgia Tech leads. Neal now exits. Michael Carr now is in the ball game, number 12 for Georgia Tech.
Bobby Cremen's doing all he can, playing zone at one end and moving the ball several seconds offensively in an effort to keep the score down.
This is Campbell with the shot. And Ford, the 7-footer, holds it in.
And you're going to have to get hammered to get a foul out here now. The officials are also conscious of the fact that this game is over. Going to be cautious about calling any touch fouls.
Who's going to pick it up? Fast break. No, taken away. Up front, getting set for the pass was Dixon, but it never materialized as Georgia Tech has it back. And the whistle inside as we saw Jack Mansell go up for the possible shot. Neal is coming right back in after having a few words with Bobby Cremens. Out of the ball game goes Michael Parr.
His second personal foul.
At the line, Mansell.
Craig Neal, number 10, is back in for the Yellow Jackets. And Jack Mansell on the line.
Good touch at the free throw line, 81-34. For Rutgers, Riggins has 11 points, Moore 2. Zucker has 7. Danica, who was injured and had to leave the game, had 2. Campbell has had 8. Ward is at 2. And Alston 2. It's not been a very much of an offensive night for Rutgers, to say the very least. They've been held to 34 points with over 5 minutes to go. That's amazing. 82-34. The whistle as Bailey Alston was trying to bank one home.
Prominent in the picture just a second ago was John Martinson, another New York product, number 32. 6-footer from Rockaway, New York. Played behind Kenny Smith.
The first game, as we take a close look at Martinson at the line, maybe Alston at the line, I should say. Bailey Alston. The first game was won by North Carolina over Fordham, 92-68. Now Riggins has just moved over to the sidelines. As Alston makes it. So UNC 92, Fordham 68 in the first game. And this one is Georgia Tech 82 and Rutgers 35 with under 5 minutes to go. Martinson, Ford, and it's taken back by Campbell. It's been a long time since Rutgers has had a low-scoring game of this type. 35 points. Here's Ward, and as it bounces down, Campbell. Well, both these teams came in number 1 and 5 as Campbell shoots. They said, would they be blowouts? Would Rutgers or Fordham throw scares? Well, they did throw very early scares, very briefly, and then it was all over. It was just like a sudden storm came up, and boom, that's the way it worked. Good play, but Campbell doesn't execute on the follow-up of the 2-on-1 break. He was coming down too rapidly to get the ball up. He just couldn't get the grip. Ford from outside. And tugging for the ball, going down on the play. We saw Neal as we get a timeout call. We're down now to 3:45 to go in the second half. Georgia Tech leading 82-35. We'll be back.
Why do people take Amtrak's auto train to Florida? Some like the complimentary full-course dinner. Others like our new movies. Some like meeting friends in the piano lounge. And there are those who like a good night's sleep and a continental breakfast. Of course, everyone loves our new fares, now 20% less than the regular fare. And who can resist our valet parking? Call Amtrak or your travel agent.
It's Crazy Eddie's greatest audio sale ever. Get a compact disc player, stereo rack system, turntables, receivers, speakers, cassette decks. Get it all on sale now during Crazy Eddie's greatest audio sale ever. Remember, we are not undersold. We will not be undersold. We cannot be undersold, and we mean it. So get a new compact disc player. Get anything and everything in audio equipment now during Crazy Eddie's greatest audio sale ever. Crazy Eddie, his prices are insane.
The Rutgers band, the cheerleaders have not lost their enthusiasm. They're having a great time here. Bob Wolf, Bucky Waters, Bruce Beck. Well, Bucky coming into the ball game. North Carolina ranked number 1, Georgia Tech number 5. You've seen them both now, so here's the question. If you were to pick right now as to which is the superior team, which would it be?
I'd have to go with North Carolina right now, mostly because of their incredible depth. But it's a long season. We're just now early in January, and the teams that are going to play for the big bucks are going to be doing it in the end of March, almost April. things change.
Ward on the miss. You've also had a chance to observe the St. John's, Georgetown, who will be playing this Saturday. Let's throw them in the pot, those four. Which one will be your pick then? Here's Peterson.
I really haven't seen much of Georgetown. I've got to like St. John's versus Georgetown here. I think they're very even this year. I think they'll be home court wins in all probability. I don't think either of those teams are as good as Georgia Tech and North Carolina. And I go with North Carolina because just of their incredible depth.
Willie Reese, number 31.
Willie Reese, number 31 for Georgia Tech. From Atlanta, Georgia, Carver High School, the 6th-ranked freshman. Has moved in. Sherrod is in there, number 42. Shot by Ford. Rebound, Carr. Carr gets off the shot. Rebound comes down, and here come the Scarlet Knights. Number 32 is Alston. In the corner to Campbell, and Campbell on the miss. Carr the rebound. Martinson's on his right-hand side, gets the bounce pass. He gets off the shot. Rebound, no good. And as it comes down to the grapple for the ball, it's Ford. But we've got a whistle. 2:27 to go in this game.
You know, you look out there at the Rutgers team, and it just doesn't seem right. No John Bannell, Brian Ellerby, Chris Remley, Andra Bell, Sam Randolph. It just seemed like they were been there forever. And of course, Tom Young is going too after 12 years and 239 wins and 116 losses. It's a new man, Greg Littlepage. 5 of the 11 that he had dressed tonight, freshman. Best player out. Duckett is going to be a good one for the Scarlet Knights. He has 4 scholarships to give this year, has 2 commitments already from the November recruiting window that he's very pleased with. And next year, Rutgers will lose 5 seniors, so there'll be 9 new players in 2 years. Then Craig Littlepage will have his program underway.
Reese committed that foul, number 31. Bucky, among many of the great shooters, we've seen Rowan of St. John's and Price. We'll watch tonight. He went out. He was red hot. They just took him out early after a sterling performance. Pure shooting. Who do you rate those two as the tops?
Well, I think Price. I think Price has more range, and he can do more things. Rowan is very good. He has his limitations mobility-wise, but I think Price is better. I think he's quicker. I think his range is better. I think his defense is better. But we're talking, you know, we're talking the pick of the litter. So Price is an incredible player.
Here's Ford. Peterson got him pretty good on that side. They decided to let it go. At the other end, the two-pointer put in by Alston. And here's Sherrod. They're breaking down 4 on 2. Feed to Campbell, and his intended feed sails out of bounds. It was intended for number 12, Emery Ward.
Bob Wolf, I'm impressed. You're working just as hard as you did the first 5 minutes of the first game. It's a 43-point differential, and the old pro is just doing it here.
Well, I'll tell you, I've got great sympathy for those guys who finally get in the ball game late in the game in a blowout. They love to have their names mentioned, don't they?
You betcha. I was there.
Who's going to pick it up? Oh, that play was put up by 12, Emery Ward. Emery Ward. 83-42. We've got 1 minute and a few seconds to go. Reese. The follow-up by Ford. The basket does count by Reese. Goaltender.
Well, in 54 seconds, Rutgers can begin to think about Temple in Philadelphia. And Georgia Tech, the Ramblin' Wreck, take their act home to take on the Terrapins of Maryland Saturday afternoon. This one is history.
Well, a lot of folks, I guess, say, I told you so. I told you that UNC, told you about Georgia Tech.
It's an impressive demonstration for the Atlantic Coast Conference in here tonight, but basically they had 2 teams that were outmatched.
Alston on that last field goal. But it was a pleasure to be right beside Bucky Waters and recounting how it was done, names, numbers, along with Bruce Beck. Got a lot of more games coming up during the course of the season here at Garden, Meadowlands. 24 seconds, 85-44, Georgia Tech. And 24 seconds to play. Martinson. then there's always that great pleasure somehow getting that last basket before the final horn goes off. This is Reese. Partially blocked. Outlet pass Campbell. He feeds Alston. Alston crashes. Offensive foul. Alston still there. Now we're down to 7 seconds.
Offensive foul.
And Reese will put the ball in play. Well, a few autographs across the way.
I'm not sure. I think they're making some play. Well, I don't know about that.
Well, a new recruit. I mean, a little scouting
that's
trip
a
up there.
possibility.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, here's Campbell. Campbell. That's it. Campbell makes the last two-pointer. And the final score, 85 for Georgia Tech and 46 for Rutgers. So, a very dominating win. 85 to 46 is Georgia Tech. Now makes their record 13-1. They've won 12 in a row. And for the Scarlet Knights, they are now 5-8. Now we'll have a post-game wrap-up, so stay with us for that. But once again, Georgia Tech winning 85 to 46 here at the Garden.